Where the rain starts to fall again. The Sheffield Eagles are ahead by 18 points to 10 in this cooperative championship final round of the regular season fixture, and the Barrow Raiders looking to finish top of the table to get pole position for the playoffs, and still in with a chance of that, still in bonus point territory. The conditions not getting any better, and you have to wonder just how fatigued this Barrow Raiders side might be. A big game against Gateshead on Monday evening, a hard game as well it was, in filthy conditions there as well at Craven Park, and it's going to need a big effort from this Barrow Raiders side in the second half if they are to overcome this Sheffield Eagles team. Dave Clark no doubt hoping that his side can perk up for this second 40 minutes, looking to improve on a pretty wretched record here in Sheffield as well. Just the one win in the last 10 visits as the Eagles take the field.
Well, they may need to take a leaf out of the Eagles' book. When you look at how they scored their tries, it was short passes close to the opponent's line, making it an easier play. And in these conditions, the shorter pass is obviously the more successful one. Difficult for Barrow to play their expansive style, shifting the ball to the likes of Liam Harrison and Nixon on the left-hand side, with the wind and rain driving so hard inside this Don Valley Stadium.
But for Barrow to get back into this game and to get the energy levels up, they don't want to defend, they want to make sure that they're disciplined, control the ball and try and dominate in defence at Sheffield's end of the park.
Right, go when you're ready, mate. Yeah, let's go.
Well, the Raiders will have this wind at their backs, and of course, having said that, it appears to have just subsided for the moment. Hoping to take advantage of the conditions though. But in the meantime, it's Sheffield Eagles in possession. Here's Alex Shostak, Scottish international, looking to be involved the end of season European Nations tournament with the Scots, with Steve McCormack's side.
Three, move, wait, go.
As Trevor Exton plays the ball. Here's Hepworth now, this former Royal Marine who came to the game late.
Go. 40.
Then the kick downfield turns Gary Broadbent around, and he picks it up on that lush green strip that mysteriously has been laid at that one end of the ground. That Barrow Raiders end of the ground, you can just see there in the shot that the pitch changes colour literally, and there is a strip between the goalposts that has been relayed. Either side of it is still bare.
It's a strip on which Andy Ballard has just been tackled, but awarded a penalty. The marker's not square, and some good urgency, I think, from Barrow in this second half. They started to compress their opponents, moving up very quickly in defence.
On the halfway line, Harrison plays the ball. Here is Braychek. Andy Braychek, Welsh international. Andy Ellis. Talking of Welsh, suggestions that Andy Ellis might be on his way to South Wales for the next season. That's just one of the many rumours swirling around the rugby league world at this time of the season, as that pass is judged to be forward from Rooney to Harrison.
It's one of those passes that Jamie Rooney comes up with. If he continued going forward and passed it to Liam Harrison, he probably would have got away with that. Because he went sideways and went behind the ball carrier, it does look forward.
Noon, Luisi and Bauer in with the tackle. Here is Menzieri, and Yeri, what you'd call a direct runner, Menzieri.
There's only one route for that guy, isn't there?
It's a good indication, though, with the work that Braychek's just done there for marker, that Barrow have focused a lot of the talk at half-time when they got their breath back on improving the defence, putting pressure on the opponents when they've got the ball and attacking them even when they don't have possession. Here they are moving up quickly and now making the catch difficult. Good offload to Brooks, but they've lost ground. Look, 10, 15, 20 metres almost.
That's great work by Harrison and Katic to drive Matty Brooks back there and forcing the kick that doesn't get a great deal of distance, and then Ballard comes racing back with it, this scurrying sort of stepping run that he's got.
Well, you clearly know you're on the front foot when your first tackle's taking place on the halfway line. The kickers are being put under pressure by Barrow. The catchers are taking it going forward.
Now then, can they build on that. Good start to this second half. The offload, and it was knocked on. It was Luisi, I think.
Scrum.
And that's two unforced errors inside the opponent's half. This one's an attempted offload, perhaps too ambitious. Early in the tackle count, we've seen they've ruined the good work here by defensive Katic, Harrison. Look, they're keen here, there's no doubt about their enthusiasm, but they perhaps need to respect the possession a little more. We saw the pass from Rooney to Harrison, went forward. Just letting their opponents off the hook too easily.
Was it Ellis's knock-on or was it Luis's offload? But either way, adjudged to have been a knock-on. And it's given the Sheffield Eagles possession with Sam Barlow, one of their try scorers tonight, plays that ball. Now here's Gibson. Evergreen Damien Gibson combines his playing now with teaching at Calderdale College in Halifax, head of rugby there. Here's Ryan Hepworth, another one of the big players for this Sheffield Eagles side, big and direct. Kyle Wood stabs a kick in. Woodcock chases, but his opposite number, Broadbent, picks it up.
But it has to be a very good kick to find Gary Broadbent in the wrong place. In fact, the second half did find him perhaps a little too far forward. Maybe he didn't quite judge the wind conditions. But on that occasion, he's perfectly placed. You can almost predict, can't he? It's a spot-the-ball competition for Gary Broadbent on the last play, and he invariably puts himself where the ball's going to be placed.
Chris Young plays that ball on his own 20-metre line, and then Rooney puts the kick in, and you can see the wind getting behind that one, and that's gone the length of the field and out of play. Restart on the 20. Let's go down to the sidelines for some half-time news from Ben Pro.
The result suiting both sides at the moment, Bill. Well, the Barrow coach Dave Clark, he wants his side to dominate the ruck in this second period and up the pace in attack and defence. Possible problem for Barrow. Rob Roberts on the sidelines at the moment. It was a planned change in that first half. He just felt some tightness in the hamstring. He will come back in the second half, that's the word from the Barrow bench. Defence also the Sheffield watchword. Mark Aston kept it simple at half-time. He said they're leading the match at the moment. If they keep up the defensive effort, they'll win the game. Johnny Woodcock pleased to say 100% after that collision with Danny Mills' knee in that first period.
Saw Mark Aston there, just getting ready to do the Great Yorkshire Run this weekend coming, doing 10 kilometres for the Kickstart charity in Richard Caborn's team. And reckons that in his entire career he didn't run as far as 10 kilometres. And if he did, it wasn't very fast. A little kick ahead, and Tanguy Rapati chasing that, and Broadbent again is across to tidy up for his side.
Stand! Wait! Go!
But now the Eagles looking to put pressure on this Barrow Raiders side to restrict their progress.
Wait! Go!
Rob Roberts has actually returned to the field for the Raiders to bring his ball handling skills into play. There is Andy Ellis. And there is Roberts.
I suppose you have to weigh up how valuable having possession is to being in the other end of the field. They're kicking here now on the fourth tackle. It's again a 40-20, but it's gone straight out of play. Coyle's kick over the sideline. I say that there's perhaps a willingness in the first quarter, first 15 minutes after half-time to kick the ball from their own areas, particularly with the wind in their favour. Just get to the other end of the field. They've got so much enthusiasm to defend at the moment, Barrow. There's no real need for them to be in their own half.
James Coyle, one of the 5 players who joined Barrow Raiders from Oldham a few weeks ago, when things were really shaken up at Craven Park. It started before then, in fact, with Des Johnston's influence, bringing Jamie Rooney in. Andy Braychek, in fact, was the first of the big signings. Ned Katic, another of them. Katic there making the tackle. Craig Cook now, and here is Sam Barlow. Barlow tackled by Paul Noon. Matty Brooks. Here is Woodcock. Harrison gets a hold of him, and Katic in there as well to just upend him. Slow things down a little bit more. Jack Howison now. 4 tackles gone for the Eagles, and they're on that Barrow Raiders 10-metre line. Here is Stringer. Kyle Wood. Exton puts a little kick in. It's a good one. And Danny Mills has chased it. Has he got the ball down? He has. And more satisfaction for Mark Aston. Setback for the Barrow Raiders as Danny Mills gets on the end of that kick from Trevor Exton. Wonderfully weighted kick from the PNG international. And more problems for Dave Clark and his Barrow Raiders side.
Well, playing the game in your own half is a dangerous approach. With Sheffield in this sort of form, it's clinical when they get to opponents. In this weather, this is a fantastic try. The man just stops short of the line. Mills gets outside of Ballard. And the kick is a wonderful one. At high speed, he puts on the brakes, drops the ball through into the in-goal area. And just as we saw a try in this corner in the first half, in fact, does he ground it? The referee's already given it, and I'd probably say in slow motion he does. You would have liked to take a second look at that.
There's a knock on there, surely.
I think it's still in contact with his leg, Bill, actually. I don't think it leaves his body at any time. Does it? Is there a foot involved there from Ballard?
Well, referee Jamie Lee, he had no hesitation in awarding that one. He's hesitated about one or two decisions here tonight, but he was very insistent with that one. The try awarded to Danny Mills, his 9th of the season. Woodcock has missed with the conversion attempt. 22-10. The bonus point is still there, but only just. Should it have been a try?
Well, it says so on the scoreboard, Bill. It's very difficult to defend. You can see here Danny Mills goes for it.
Wait for me.
It goes through his hands there. He gets downward pressured at the end. Oof.
Let's go.
You can see there he loses it, comes off his leg, he puts it down. That's a try.
We've seen it 4 times. I think it is a try, isn't it? There's none of us here convinced that it should be disallowed. So on that grounds, I think you'd have to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Sometimes you have to ride your luck, don't you? And that's what they've done. Trevor Exton, the guy with the ball there, put a neat little kick there, and it's very difficult for Andy Ballard to turn and chase when you've got an oncoming winger in Danny Mills putting pressure on you.
Yeah, well, the ball clearly didn't hit the ground before. It grounded it in one motion.
Jack Howison looks at the referee in disbelief there, having been adjudged to have knocked that ball on. And has certainly done that. He's lost control of it.
Well, it was Ned Kattick trying to turn him over, but you could see the determination and enthusiasm on Rob Roberts' face as he's trying to encourage his teammates.
Well, what would encourage them would be a try here, and Luisi almost through there. Just an ankle tap denied him, but Andreas Bauer fancy his chances. Menzieri with the tackle. The Eagles suddenly right back on their own try line. Luisi, here is Broadbent now. And Broadbent can't make much progress for his side. Ellis directing the troops, bang in front of those Sheffield Eagles posts. They go to the right. Coyle trying to step his way through. He can't get there. Tackled by Alex Zostak. Ellis will fancy his chances. Well, he fires the ball up, and again the Eagles manage to deny Zeb Luisi. That's the 5th tackle. Here is Rooney now. Rooney chips ahead, goes straight for it up the middle, and it was a tame effort in the end, and Woodcock is able to retrieve it.
Well, the only difference between these two sides really is Sheffield's ability to defend the try line and Sheffield's ability to crash over and score when they get to opponents. Woodcock again well positioned here, takes that kick in, a very difficult one for Rooney to kick for himself and expect to score from that position. But Sheffield have perfected the art of scoring those close range efforts, and it's why they're 12 points in front.
But that's an encouraging set of 6 for this Barrow Raiders side, putting all that pressure on the Eagles team. They need to replicate that. Kick downfield, too strong out on the full. Kyle Wood furious with himself.
And that again, credit the Barrow defence. They've come out this second half and they're trying to get off the line as quick as they can and put as much pressure on Wood and Matty Brooks as they can. Coming up with errors like that, and that's all down to the defensive efforts.
Kyle Wood, another player who's on Super League radar apparently after his performances this season, came here from Doncaster. The fallout from the Dons, financial problems. Here is Rob Roberts, on the 9th club of his meandering career, Rob Roberts. Bit of a maverick, but likely to come up with some enterprising play, and Barrow Raiders need some of that. Still plenty of time to go here, but they trail 22 points to 10. They're in possession now with Paul Noon. Noon changing direction. Good defence from the Eagles, but not strong enough. Not strong enough to keep out Ellis, is it? He's just short once again. Close to that try line. Rooney, shape to kick, change of direction. Broadbent going across the field. They keep the ball alive, and the penalty, it was Andreas Bauer, who I think was adjudged to have been tackled and then played the ball.
When you know, on a pitch that's only 65 metres wide, it's impossible to run around this Sheffield defence, particularly with the pride that they've got defending their own line tonight. He offloaded the ball too late. But I think one or two of the Barrow players need to realise they're going to have to run through the Sheffield defenders rather than round them.
The penalty count in the favour of the Sheffield Eagles. Yeah, Andreas Bauer played that ball after he was tackled. Just desperate to keep it alive. They don't need to be getting desperate yet. Still well over a quarter of the game to go. But it's the Eagles are ahead by 22 points to 10. But the margin for the bonus point, 12 points. Within that, as the Sheffield Eagles know to their benefit, they have been 9 times this season. You can pick up the point. Ballard under pressure from Mills, gathers the kick, but Mills was closing him down very quickly, and that's now given Barrow Raiders work to do to get out of that boggy end of the Don Valley field.
Barrow really need to push up in support. They're doing a lot of hard work in defensive, but if one of the teammates get their arms free, somebody got to be pushing up, like James Coyle did on that occasion. When they get up the other end of the park, Jamie Rooney's had his hands free, Ellis has had his hands free, and they're always a danger when they go. You've just got to read what the play is.
Rooney goes for some height. First time tonight, really, we've seen that option taken, and nobody interested until Tanguy Rapati gets there.
What's interesting was why they didn't do that in the first half. Inside their opponent's territory, they just kick the ball over the sideline. You get the same end result. It's just a bit harder because they have to catch it.
Woodcock, another heavy challenge on him then. Another one on Gibson there.
Watch your line.
He plays the ball. Danny Mills has a run for his side. 3 tackles gone, 4 tackles gone. Here's Trevor Exton. Had a big game for PNG against England in Townsville. That's opening fixture of the World Cup for England last year. That's that and his performances subsequently in the World Cup, which attracted Mark Aston's attention. Barrow Raiders in possession now.
And they're looking to find one player who can just get them a quick play of the ball in a set. That one's not obviously the one from it. 3 men on top of Ballard, from which Ellis will just fire out to the acting half-back position, and the rest of his Barrow players will follow.
Well, there he goes, and cannily done by Andy Ellis there, and then Rob Roberts involved, and Sam Barlow wanted a bit of it, and I think Rob Roberts just a bit unimpressed by the tackle on Andy Ellis.
Well, some people are peacemakers and some people are peacekeepers, and he wants to make sure that he protects whenever possible his hooker. It's a high and bad tackle there on the jaw. To think that really is only a penalty. I've often said maybe the sim of 5 or 10 minutes for high head tackles.
It's all right.
Well, Tanguy Rapati getting spoken to.
Nothing more to say about it, just a penalty. Just careful with your technique.
As is Sam Barlow for his part in what happened afterwards.
Take a moment, all right? I appreciate it's coming, all right, but you've got to keep your temper, right?
Barlow still getting a piece of the referee's mind. I think Rooney is going to go for the 2 points, so
it's a nice shot. You're going for goal.
They're obviously thinking bonus point.
You're going for goal shot.
Close the gap. Dave Clark heading down for the sidelines.
Yeah.
If Rooney gets this goal, what they've got to do, they've got to concentrate when they're bringing the ball away from their own line and not come up with a mistake. They can't give Sheffield any field position because they've shown that they are very dangerous when they're down in barrow zone in 20-yard line. And it's very difficult to stop the likes of Menzieri, Tanguy Rapati, Jack Howison.
Rooney on target with that. 22-12 the scoreline now. They're back in bonus point territory.
There's almost an argument to be said that here, if one of the players like Rooney catches this kick-off here, it's a very bad tackle in my opinion, that. Very bad tackle. He twists him awkwardly to the floor. But I would almost say, you can almost kick this ball straight back. All of the Barrow players have just had at least a 2-minute rest. There's no argument to say that they're not fresh enough here to tackle. But early in this set, kick the ball, get out of your own half, and again, put your opponents under pressure in difficult conditions.
Well, that's what Rooney done when he had the ball a couple of sets ago. He kicked it on the third tackle, so he wants to gain that territory.
So here come the Barrow Raiders. And a good offload finds Gary Broadbent. 22-12 the scoreline.
Right side, hold your line.
Raiders looking to get back to winning ways, beaten last time out, surprisingly, or not maybe surprisingly, by Gateshead Thunder, given that they'd also beaten Widnes and Halifax this season. The Barrow Raiders just stuttering at this closing end of the season. Sheffield Eagles, by contrast, really are flying high at the moment, looking to make it 4 wins in a row here tonight. They've benefited from an end-of-season run-in that's seen them play their last 3 games of the regular season on the home field. Rooney again hoists a high kick. Woodcock comes for it, Mills does as well, and they're going to get a tap on the 20 after that.
Well, the Eagles very fortunate there that the ball bounced and ran so quickly over the dead ball line. There was no confidence at all from any of the catching team of the Sheffield side to go even for that ball.
So they have the ball back. They've won their last 6 games at home, the Sheffield Eagles. Just shows what a tough prospect they are on their own pitch. And here's Menzieri. Geary and Brett McDermott gets a hold of him. Howison. Howison tackled by Andy Ellis, feeling no ill effects from that high shot from Tanguy Rapati. More good defence, and again Brett McDermott to the fore, and again Andy Ellis is in there. He's in the thick of it, is the little hooker. As Brooks puts the kick in, and Nixon has made a mess of that. He's knocked it on, and Gibson very nearly benefited. He couldn't get a hold of it either.
Do you know, it's such an important skill, but one very rarely practiced. Falling on a moving ball for rugby league, it can be so important, almost as important as a try, because it guarantees possession for your side if you take it in. It's difficult as he went backwards. And this is the ideal place from which Sheffield like to put points on. Within 10 metres of the opponent's line, they've perfected the art over the last few weeks of making sure that they pay when they get to this part of the field.
And the ball's reached Menzieri now. Yeri famed for his try scoring against Australia in the World Cup for PNG in Townsville. Now Alex Shostak. Cook is there. Cook fires the ball up for Haley, and Haley has gone without that.
Well, on this occasion, Barrow's goal line defence was adequate. Prevents Haley from doing what they did so often in the first half, just put himself between 2 bodies and getting through the try line. Barrow again now desperate in the final quarter, trying to inject some pace into the game. You see the wingers getting in there, trying to scoot from acting halfback. Even if the tackle, they want them down, playing the ball up and quickly.
Yeah, into the last quarter of the game. Ellis had Harrison on his shoulder, but it was Ellis who takes the tackle just inside the Sheffield Eagles half. Rooney, McDermott now. McDermott trying to get that ball away. The Eagles make sure he can't do that. They lead by 22 points to 12 at the moment and concede the penalty. Now then, will Rooney go for another 2 points?
I wouldn't have thought so. From almost 40 metres out, you've just made your opponents defend for 4 tackles.
Wind at his back, there's a conference going on.
See what we're doing? 2 points.
Wow, well, a defensive option almost, isn't it? 10 points behind.
Craig, we use good, mate.
The
You're
bonus
10.
point is what they want.
10. Yeah, 10's good there, yeah.
But sometimes you've got to back yourself and go for that killer punch. There's only going to be a try. No matter if he gets this. Well, Dave Clark sent out the message he wants the 2 points.
Nice and still.
Backed up by Danny Halliwell.
Trevor, stand still.
So, who's
Watch
Jamie
out, line
Bruni to
side.
disagree then?
This one, a long-range effort, but he has got this wind at his back. Rooney hoists that one towards the posts. On target. Are the Raiders on target for top spot? A little band of supporters celebrate. 22-14 the scoreline. The Eagles are ahead.
It is an example, though, where the bonus point system should be criticised because it does encourage a negativity. Surely all sports about winning the match, winning the contest or challenge that you're in.
But that's only in this specific case. I mean, it's not throughout the season.
But sometimes that's a sign of a nervous side as well. I'm not so sure whether they should have done that. They should have gone for the win and actually gone to try and score some points against them instead of taking the penalties. OK, they got the first penalty that got them that bonus point, but go for the win. They're in good field position. They've come on the back of a couple of penalties. If they're down there, chance their arm.
Well, they've still got time to chance their arm. But they don't want to let the opportunity slip, and they're conscious of the fact that Halifax are waiting to pounce if Barrow Raiders do come away with nothing tonight. Halifax, of course, playing Toulouse on Sunday. Toulouse with nothing to lose in that game. They can't be relegated. And of course, there's the small matter of relegation to be decided as well. Gateshead, Lee and Batley all in the thick of it there, trying to avoid joining Doncaster. Meanwhile, Liam Harrison puts the brakes on, gets away from Rapati, gets the ball to Nixon. Nixon gets away from Gibson, and then Rooney, cross-field kick. Mills is under it, and he's got bags of time there, and gets the ball back over his own try line.
Well, some nice play from Barrow. Liam Harrison, great centre play, nice footwork and passing in these conditions. Sheffield surviving for that play. And eventually, in the remaining 15-16 minutes of this match, Sheffield are going to get a chance to get some more points. Barrow need to maintain a real focus here now. There's an ebb and flow in all games of rugby league, and Sheffield will get their turn here for points yet.
Saw Trevor Exton just getting a bit of treatment, but he's still out on the field, the PNG international. Just on the edge of the tackle there. Good work from Harrison again. And then it was Exton's pass, and a shout of anguish from him. And I don't think that was because of his back, but because of the pass, which wasn't a particularly good one.
40.
And then Briggs.
Okay, here we go.
Kick downfield. Brooks it was with a kick downfield. And it's fielded by Ballard, and Ballard on the halfway line almost had that ball stolen from him. Just managed to keep a hold of it, and here's McDermott now. McDermott puts his shoulder in, but so did the opposition. Shostak in there with the tackle. Barrow Raiders in possession with Chris Young. 3 tackles gone. Coyle now finds Luisi, but that's good defence from the Eagles, from Menzieri on Andreas Bauer there. Luisi, Ellis, good offload for Young. One hand off, 2, great pass from Young to Osler. That's the 5th tackle. Osler nearly through for another try. He's hurt, gets to his feet to play the ball. He can't do that. Problems for the second row, Martin Osler. That's a shame for Barrow. They had great momentum there.
Great play again from Chris Young. Very impressed with him tonight. Number 23, working hard to keep the ball alive. Promotes it to Osler, but he's held short of the line and in some pain as he twisted the left ankle.
Go again.
He did. He got it trapped. I think it was Tangi Rapati who came over, and the physio just signalling that they're probably going to have to make a change. Ned Katic preparing to come on for the side.
Well, it's a massive moment in this match here for Barrow, because it's the last play at the end of this set. You have to keep your concentration if you're defending. He's tackled here by Woodcock. and Rapati, his foot trapped underneath him with the weight of the two defenders on top. He's carried quickly to the side. One play. Critical moment here now.
Wait till I shout you, mate. 2 feet.
Ned Katic has come on in his place.
Hang on.
Meanwhile, on the last tackle for this Barrow Raiders side.
Clock comes on, it's 5, play it. 5.
Can they turn this into more points? And Rooney has gone for one.
It's good for me.
And got it. They've narrowed the gap still further, and they're keeping the scoreboard ticking over. 22-15 now, the scoreline. Sheffield Eagles still ahead.
Well, I wonder if the way they're playing, they're going to go down and get another drop goal, so they have to score a converted, try to get back to that 12 points.
If he's got an hand on the ball, you'll get a
Jamie
penalty,
Rooney
but
and the
don't
Barrow
try
side are
and
quite
clamp it,
content.
right?
Every time they
He's
go
there.
up the other end of the park, they
Wait,
want to come away with some points.
You know, it's a dangerous game to play, though. If you look at the majority of rugby league matches, you have to score tries to win them.
And if you look as well, Phil, all the majority, there's Martin Oster, you can see there's a real problem with his left ankle. But if you look at the game and all the energy that Barrow have shown in this second half, and they're just knocking off 2 points here, 2 points there, a drop goal, they've got to go for that killer punch.
All the points in this second half scored by Jamie Rooney. I beg your pardon, try from Mills early on, but since then, all the points in this second half scored by Jamie Rooney. And now, could there be another name on the scoreboard? Because Luisi is on the break, he's got a man in the middle, it's Rooney with the charge. Rooney is tackled, but Barrow Raiders, their tails up now. Luisi, Katic, here's Harrison. Harrison taking on Rapati. Rapati is all over him to make the tackle. Coyle now. They go across the field with Chris Young. Young was trying to get the pass away, couldn't do so. He plays the ball. Broadbent directly up the middle. The captain goes and almost goes for the line. We might have to eat our words about this Barrow Raiders approach. No, they're going to go for one more, and they'll get it.
Well, there you go. What did I say, Bill? Barrow are so dangerous every time they play up that middle channel and they get speed, they go from dummy half, they're very, very hard to defend against. As soon as them quick play the balls come in, you can see that Luisi gets out, shows some real neat footwork. He's looking for support, he slows the tempo of his run, he gets the ball to Jamie Rooney inside. Jamie Rooney again's looking for support, he wants Ballard to drop behind him. But again, they've come up here, and it goes to that man Jamie Rooney, and bang, I'll slot it over. Now there's 6 points in it. They're running out of minutes if they're going to knock another 6 drop goals over.
All the points in this second half for the Barrow Raiders, coming from the boot of Jamie Rooney with 2 penalties and 2 drop goals, and that has kept them within bonus point territory, and that will do for them. But it is, as Phil has said, oh, and they've lost that ball. McDermott has lost the ball, he's knocked it on. It could be a dangerous ploy.
And that is the danger that I talked about before. You've got to concentrate that next set of 6. Whether you go for a penalty or whether you score a try, you must focus. Yes, Thostad, he got his hands in there. But again, the ball's in his grasp. He's got to make sure Brett McDermott, he tries to control that ball.
11 minutes.
It's slippy conditions, but again, now Barrow have got to defend their line.
Come on, Cocker.
Woodcock.
Line! Get on the line!
Barrow survived the first tackle with Chris Young and Ned Katic making it. Now Hepworth.
Move!
Ryan Hepworth, they're going to use the bulldozers surely. It's Stringer charging for the line, and he's held up short. Who's going to be next? It could be Hepworth again. And that ball's been knocked on, and that's a let-off for the Barrow Raiders. Stringer can't believe that.
Well, Barrow have demonstrated an ability to learn as the game's gone on. OK, we see the knock-on, but the tackle to deny Stringer was the learning experience. A little bit of interference perhaps right in there, but the number of Barrow players, I think it was 4 in fact, needed to stop Stringer on that player where the hooker Cook just turns it back inside to him. Bang, crash there. They know that was the one. Scored from it in the first half. Wasn't going to repeat it.
It's a real battle of attrition now, this game. Coming up to 10 minutes to go. The Barrow Raiders aiming for the top spot, which would be a great achievement in this season in the Championship after being promoted. And they get the penalty. Offside against the Sheffield Eagles defence. And Rooney will surely harness the elements and thump this one downfield.
Well, that's just lazy playing it in defence. Joe Hurst had to get onside first. I don't know whether he ever actually got back to the referee and then set off too quickly.
Come on, Joe. Good, that's good. Send it. Wait, go.
Here is Chris Young.
One.
Katic appealing for something. I think maybe a high tackle on Young. Ellis. Here is Ned Katic. It's Sydney Rooster and Penrith as well. Katic, as he plays the ball. Coyle now. McDermott. McDermott upended by Sostak.
Wait, go.
Plays that ball and dummy runner, and it's Chris Young, and Young gets the try. The boy from Bury, who grew up in Wollongong, now back in the UK, gets the try close to the posts to give Jamie Rooney the conversion attempt to level the scores.
Well, probably one of the most impressive players on the pitch. Ellis puts it into the nice hole for him, but I tell you what, I don't know which Super League sides are watching here tonight. He has to be a future for the future. Real potential. Willing worker, defending well, attacking well. A real zest for this game. Carries his side here now with a kick to come. Could take them level.
Chris Young has been a good signing for this Barrow Raiders side from Workington. A try scorer against the Eagles when they were beaten at Barrow in May by 26 points to 18. Now Rooney round the corner with this conversion attempt. Successful. And it's 22 points apiece here at the Don Valley Stadium. And never mind the bonus point now. Those Raiders supporters hoping they can kick on and finish it off here.
They'll want to wrap up the season with a win. They don't want to go and win the Championship title by just a bonus point. They want to be big, they want to be destructive going into the semis and going into the final playoffs. And you look at big Chris Young there, there's only one route that these players can go, and that is straight and hard, and Chris Young deserved that try.
So Sheffield Eagles really haven't had a look in this second half. You've got to take your hat off really to the Barrow Raiders. They've come out after the break and they've just about dominated proceedings. Just that early try in the second half by Danny Mills, and since then the Barrow Raiders have been in control. Jamie Rooney doing the damage with the boot, and that try from Young drawing them level. And they've lost the ball, and then the knock-on from Sheffield. Dave Allen gets a consolation pat on the back. I'm not sure it was meant in that spirit.
The game's had a very strange feel, hasn't it, whilst Barrow have been building back up here now to a 22-point level. I think almost Sheffield had forgotten the nature of it, but here now they have a chance, I think, to win the game, and that's ultimately what the match is about. And the perfect place to do it from. 5 tackles, 20 metres out.
Can they keep a hold of the ball? The handling hasn't been that hot in this second half, but for that matter, neither is the Barrow Raiders. Both these sides guilty of errors. Here is Hepworth. Good defence again, once more Brett McDermott in the thick of it with the tackle. Stringer. Craig Cook waving the next line forward, goes for 1 point, gets it. A plethora of one-pointers here at the Don Valley here tonight. That's the third of the game.
And probably Sheffield, if they look back on this game, they'd be relieved that Rooney has took the option. You can see the drop goal go over there for Sheffield, but they'll be relieved because Barrow have had all the position in this second half, and they've chose to go for a couple of drop goals, a couple of penalties. Realistically, they'll look back and think, should we have gone for the try? Should we have chanced our arm? We've shown, and Mark Aston there, you can see in the pitch, he's shaking his head. He'll be happy with the win though.
He's not got a win yet, has he? Over 5 minutes to go.
Well, I might etch him there, Phil. I might etch him there. What can Barrow come up with?
Let's briefly go down to the sidelines for some injury news, Ben.
Well, if Barrow are going to finish in top spot, Bill, Martin Osler's going to need every day of that fortnight's rest. It's a suspected tibialar injury, and talking to the medical team, they're going to need a lot of work to get him back match fit for that playoff, or the first match of the playoffs.
That's a blow for the Raiders. Certainly been an impressive performer this evening. Try scorer. But out injured now. And Barrow Raiders again trailing, but only by that 1 point. 23-22 the scoreline in favour of the Sheffield Eagles. And they don't disappoint here at the Don Valley Stadium when we come for a Sky game. We've seen quite a number of these close matches. As the Eagles come up with a knock-on, and Stringer curses himself for that fumble.
Well, this is almost a perfect invitation, you know, to Barrow, isn't it, to go on and win this match. 6 tackles, 40 metres out, less than 5 to go.
Lock tight, hold that 5. Get you ready.
No real pressure on them.
Edge of the seat stuff here at the Don Valley Stadium then, with into the last 5 minutes, the Sheffield Eagles ahead by 23 points to 22. Coyle. Ellis, so crucial to this side as Bracek struggles to get to his feet. Ellis, no sympathy, tells him to get on with it. Here is Chris Young.
Right, Phil, will they go for the win or will they go for the drop goal?
Well, Rooney has been eyeing up those posts. And in fact, he was a bit exasperated there. Ooh, that looked high. Hepworth was high on Coyle there. Here is Rooney now. Rooney for Katic, and Ned Katic still going. He's over the line, is he? He's driven back, he's held up. He is held up. He was almost there.
2 feet. 2 feet.
And he races back to play this ball. Here is Coyle, and Coyle, little kick for Ballard to challenge for, oh, and Ballard couldn't gather it, he's knocked it on, and it's been picked up by Woodcock.
0!
Ballard tried to make a contest of that, he tried to outjump Danny Mills. Unfortunately for him, he couldn't bring that ball in. Go on, Phil, you can't answer the question when they go for the drop goal.
No, they'll go for the try, as they did do then. I think they'll continue to. I think whether they end up 23-22, I think they need to get in the habit of trying to win. Okay, this game's the final one of the league season, but this year has all been about all 18 games for them, preparing for the playoffs, progressing to the grand final. The 4th of October is the big date for these sides, and that's when you have to be at your best. Be good enough to get there, and then play your best rugby on the biggest day. Chairs down here now, 6 more tackles for Sheffield.
And they play on. Cook it is, gets to his feet. Kyle Wood, now Stringer. The Eagles looking to make this game safe. But the clock is against Barrow Raiders as well. Mark Aston down on the sidelines, exasperated by the way his side have lost control of this game in the second half. 18-10 up at the break they were. They scored early on in the second half to take an even stronger grip, but they've seen Barrow Raiders come back strongly at them. But here's Damien Gibson. Gibson up the middle. Ellis it was with the tackle. Magnificent performance from him. Cook through the defence for the try that sews it up for the Sheffield Eagles. And Craig Cook gets his 12th try of the season. He got the drop goal just 5 minutes ago. Gets the try that wraps the game up for the Sheffield Eagles side. And Chris Young can only wonder. It was his try that had helped Barrow Raiders draw level. But it's Craig Cook who dived through the defence there.
Edward Watwood tries to get the ball away. The Barrow players come through, they knock it down. It's Dave Allen that puts pressure on. You've got to play to the whistle. And it's that guy, Craig Cook, who just gets out under the sticks. The big forwards for Sheffield have really laid the platform to get into this position. Mitch Stringer, Ryan Hepworth, they've all done extremely well, but it's that guy, Craig Cook, who scores the try for Sheffield.
In his second spell at this Sheffield Eagles club, returned here after playing for Doncaster. Started his pro career at the Hull Academy setup. And that try right under the dot. bang in front of the post for Johnny Woodcock. He'll surely land this one to wrap up the Eagles' victory. It's not going to deny the Barrow Raiders this vital bonus point, not unless they concede another one. A try and a goal in the last minute here. That is the threat. Well, not even the last minute, the last 20 seconds now. And they're making sure that they take a leisurely return to the halfway line. Dave Clark celebrating the bonus points that will assure them the top spot. They're going to return defeated, but as the league leaders, there goes the hooter. That ball will run dead, and the Sheffield Eagles with something to celebrate as well. 3 points that boost them up to third in the table. Second place not out of the question, but it's the Barrow Raiders who are celebrating. It's not often that you celebrate a defeat, but it's a defeat that has yielded a bonus point, and that is enough for the Raiders.
They've won the championship title, but that team, Sheffield, they'll be confident now going into the playoffs. They've played against the Barrow side, they've got the result, and there you go.
And it must be a delighted Dave Clark. Not often you're a delighted coach when your side's just been beaten that close, but he surely is. He's with Ben.
Dave on the wrong end of the scoreline, but I don't think that'll matter.
No, mate, it's fantastic. We worked hard last week to try and do it Monday night, and Gateshead came along and took that away from us. And we knew tonight was going to be tough coming to Sheffield. And they've lost 9 games this year and they had 9 bonus points. So we knew defensively they're going to be tough at home. And we knew we had to do complete sets of 6 and build that patience game for us. And yeah, mate, we're just trying to get as many points as we could, and it was great. Glad to see that, the second half we had the stage of winning the game as well. But fantastic result for Barrow Rugby League and the supporters. Dean Marwood and everybody that's helped me throughout the year. It's absolutely fantastic to win the competition for Barrow Rugby League, and proud as hell. And Des, it's fantastic for him as well.
And how relieved are you for this result, given the events of the last week?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, it's been difficult, and I'm sure it has been for the players as well. And maybe that played its way in the Gateshead game or not, I don't know. But it was great to see the players turn it around tonight, and get the result that we wanted. It would have been nice to get the 3 points, but anyway, we've got the top of the ladder, the top of the lead, so that will do me at home tie now. Will be fantastic. And
you've led the team to a cup final already this year, the first in a long, long time. Now a grand final is surely the target.
Oh, yes, it is, mate. Winning the competition too. It was a dream, I suppose. Des Johnson, first meeting of the year, said he wanted to win the whole lot. We're part way there. We've got a couple of games to go, and it'll be great to finish on a high again and get to the final. That'll be fantastic for the club as well. But fantastic, everybody involved with Barrow Rugby League.
Congratulations, well done. Let's bring in Andy Ellis. Andy, you're tonight's man of the match. How much was patience the key to tonight's win?
Oh, it was big, yeah.
Loss, I should say. It feels like a win.
Yeah, we lost. Yeah, I think the team are disappointed. Well, credit to Sheffield, they did well. But we got the point we needed to win the league. It was happy. Yeah.
A very similar pattern to the game earlier in the season at Craven Park, because they took the lead there and then you came back.
Yeah, unfortunately I didn't play that game, so I'm not quite sure what happened there. But Nathan Mossop filled in for me and he did well. But yeah, we came back that game. We got the 3 points we needed for the rest of the season.
It's been an interesting week for the club. How pleased are you to be going now into the playoffs in pole position?
Yeah, very interesting week, ups and downs, but now we're at the top. We got a week off to prepare for the semi-final at home. I'm not sure we've got yet, but we'll come all guns blazing, hopefully.
Andy, you are tonight's man of the match. There's a bottle of champagne to go with that, and also £100 to give to the charity of your choice. Can you tell us where that's going, please?
The Guillain-Barré Syndrome charity.
Well done, Andy. Let's bring in Mark Aston. Mark, a really tight game, and you've come up with a vital win.
Yeah, it was, everybody's won tonight, and the Barrows won the league, and we've got 3 points that pushes it, into the top 3. So we're delighted. We had to scrap hard for it. I mean, the conditions didn't help the game, but we showed a lot of commitment and a lot of passion. And credit the boys. We talked about consistency, and I think we've got to take the raps for probably being the most consistent team this season.
Well done, Mark. Thanks.
Thank you.
So both coaches satisfied after that result. An unusual scenario. Sheffield Eagles the winners, 29-22. Barrow Raiders get the bonus point. They get the league leadership. As that table illustrates, the Barrow Raiders top of the pile with 44 points. They can't be caught now, but Halifax could yet overhaul the Sheffield Eagles, who've moved up to second place in the table by virtue of that victory. Halifax, of course, play Toulouse on Sunday. So still issues to be decided in this cooperative championship. And there you go, they have lost 29-22, and they're out on the pitch celebrating. It's a funny old game, Saint.
Well, do you know what? It's been the most intense competition that I think this division has ever had in many, many years, and even the sides at the bottom, with the exception of Doncaster, have been remarkably competitive. That's testimony to a great competition this year that we've seen, and it isn't over yet. I think that the mistake Barrow could be making here is celebrating a little too much. They have to keep this in context. That's only part of the way they're. Having said that, remarkable effort from them to get to the cup final, and of course here now to finish the competition at the end as the top side.
Remarkably generous from Andy Ellis there. He's sharing his champagne. What more can you ask from your hooker? He does everything for the side, and then he gives them a drink afterwards as well. You have to say they did really well to get back in the second half. I mean, they're trailing 18-10 at the break, and Sheffield Eagles then scored that try early on from Danny Mills, and it looked to be getting away from them. They dug deep and got back to give themselves that chance.
I think sometimes you have to pay for experience, and I think that's what they bought when they brought Jamie Rooney to the club here, Lee. He showed great game control, didn't he, in the second half, driving wind and rain, a lot of pressure, a lot of anxiety, I think, amongst his Barrow teammates, and yet he stayed calm. In fact, contrary to our beliefs, he elected to kick at goal. He chipped away at the lead that Sheffield had. I should
Your
say
belief.
My belief, and it proved me obviously wrong, but that's the reason why he's a player and I'm sat in here with a microphone.
And Sheffield Eagles, let's talk about them, because similarly it's a great, I mean, you look here, they're playing at the Don Valley Stadium, they're not getting the biggest crowds, and yet they put a side on the pitch season after season that is competitive to the extent that at the moment they're second in the table.
Well, a workmanlike side with a competitive attitude, one who could willingly work all the way through to the grand final and couldn't trouble a team. Watch out for the Eagles.
Well, there you go, Barrow Raiders top of the table, and Sheffield Eagles